Do you see how people do that on podcasts?
Well,
They
no.
clap.
Did
you just think that was random?
No, I kind of figured
You knew what I
need,
was doing?
yeah,
because
big sound.
I haven't been doing a clap at the beginning.
Okay.
But I've noticed that people that are really professional do a clap.
Okay, well, let's be professional.
Yeah, so clap a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah, it's hard to do it.
Yeah, you can't do it with the mic. Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't want to
Yeah.
I'm scared.
So, people of the pod, we have Jilberto on the show today.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You came from the gym?
I came from the gym. I didn't shower. I apologize.
No, that's good.
A little musk is okay.
I did shower, so I took a
okay,
really
good. So
detailed, long shower.
So between us, it's kind of showered.
Yeah, exactly.
But I did put on new deodorant, but I didn't want to be late. So I was like, let me just go straight here because I woke up a little late. So.
Yes. You are a great comedian.
Oh, thanks.
You were on the show that I did at Stonewall.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
That was so fun. You're always so funny. Here's what I noticed about you. You do a lot of shows.
Okay.
You thought it was going to be like a huge compliment.
Yeah.
You were like, oh.
I wasn't praising. I was like, how do I take this?
Because I've been complimenting you the last 20 minutes. No, but I will say, I notice about you that you do a lot of shows. Yeah. And that means that you're getting booked and that you're ambitious and that you're going after it.
You know what? Can I say this? I'll just say I feel very grateful. That's something that I've worked really, really, really hard for this past year is being grateful. No, I mean, comedy, but just being grateful because I used to be of the mentality of I would see everything wrong, and I still do. I think that's what makes me somewhat of a good comic because you see a different perspective. But not losing where, it was kind of like, oh, sometimes I would be at shows, but I wasn't at the show, another show or something. And I'm like, well, that's not really grateful. I should be grateful for where I'm at today. The people that I'm here with today spending this time. So I'm feeling very grateful. Yeah. And I also know that comedy is very fickle. And so, one day is this, one day it's not, and so I feel good.
So when I was doing my research for this podcast, I Googled you.
Oh,
do you find that a lot of people don't have your name, that you're pretty Googleable, or do a lot of people have your name?
What do you mean? No, I think I don't think in because I'm Mexican, so in Mexico, there's not a ton of Gilbertos, but there's enough.
Yeah.
But they're always with a G, and I'm with a J. So the way my name is spelled, if you spell it correctly, then I don't think there's a lot of people with my own name.
I was able to just search your name.
Yeah.
I didn't type in comedy or New York or anything like that, and you came up a lot. But one of the things was your LinkedIn.
Oh,
your LinkedIn comes up, and I was looking through because I
it's an old
for
photo.
The last 10 years or whatever, I've been working full-time jobs and doing New York startups and all of that stuff, and so I was particularly interested in your career. So you've been all over, and I'm curious. When I saw that, I was like,
professionally,
you're a comedian who you have a straight up job.
I have. I would say 9 to 5, but actually it's longer hours.
It's longer. You have a pretty it's not like I feel like a lot of people that I meet in comedy are doing a bunch of odd jobs.
Yeah.
Or they have a job that's a little bit lower lift so that they can focus on comedy.
Yeah.
But it seems like you're kind of killing it all around.
I wouldn't say I'm exhausted. And I wouldn't say, do you know what it is? It's I'll say this. So I won't go too much into jobs, but just because I like to see myself as a comedian.
Yes,
but
right.
I when I went to school, I majored in business, and I got a pretty good job right after college, and you kind of climb up the professional ladder, because at the time, what I thought I should do, and I'm very grateful for the job because it allows me to live in New York and do certain things. But then as you progress into your career, I think everybody maybe goes through a moment of what they value in life, and some people, for example, value family. I'm not saying that I don't.
No, but
but creating a family, or they value a lot of trips and vacations and stuff like that. And I value comedy a lot, and I'm grateful that a job allows me to do it.
Yeah.
But do I wish sometimes that I wasn't in the professional sector the way that I am? That because to be honest, for me to do comedy full time, I would need to be earning a lot more than I do.
Yeah.
And that is a big big goal, versus other people who may have not gotten into the professional sector, now working like what I consider odd jobs, and comedy becomes a big substantial part of their overall like financial, I want to use a portfolio, but financial earning.
Yeah.
And so like it's like more, it's like there's much more of a pathway to do it full time, because
totally
they're used to maybe earning or living on a lower amount of salary. So I am a little envious of it, because once you go into the corporate job, as you know, you get spoiled with paid vacation, with health insurance, like all these like things that I don't want to get too political, but it sucks that you have to have a job to get that type of stuff.
Yeah, right.
So I feel for that. Anyways,
No, but I was just, it's interesting because I think in
people
terms
look me
of
up
balance,
on LinkedIn.
Yeah, no, but it's like in terms of balance, like that's something that. So I started taking comedy seriously when I turned 30. Okay. So I turned 30. I was like, it's time. I'm ready.
How old are you now?
30. I'm turning 32 in June.
Oh.
So it's almost coming up. You know, two years of like. Of going kind of hard at comedy and kind of going at it and doing my musical comedy, doing some shows. I've had like some nice like early success, but the balance of it all is very
2 weeks ago.
I did. It was good, and I got a this show is sponsored by my my new single that I recorded at the show. My song Rich Parents. Is we recorded the audio of it and now it's on Spotify. So I'm pretty excited about that. But I did kind of hit a wall like 6 months into my comedy endeavors, because I had this podcast. And the podcasts are no joke. Like they take so much time.
It's a slow burn.
Yeah. And it's like I kind of calculated it, and when I was realizing I'm kind of running out of time to like take care of myself and like keep things clean and grocery shop and go to the gym and all of that stuff. Yeah. But like I realized the podcast, I think like each episode, if you really calculate it, takes like 20 hours to like
that's a lot.
To get, you know, between booking someone and prepping them and then also just prepping for their interview and all of that stuff. It takes like quite a bit. So I'm very impressed when people can balance everything kind of together. Yeah. And I find it to be, I'm actually really particularly interested in someone who is working kind of up the corporate ladder and having a corporate job where there's a lot of commitments within work, but you're also like, you're managing people, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot to handle.
It is. Yeah.
I know you don't want to talk just about work, but like I think the balance of it I think is really impressive.
Yeah, you can. I don't know about.
Do you feel like you're balanced?
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's just one of those outside looking in situations.
No, and my therapist will tell you that too. Yeah. Shout out if he does.
What do you give up in order to be able to do both of those?
That's a good question. What do I give up? And I'm also like in a relationship, right?
You're engaged.
I'm engaged. Yeah. And I don't give up my time with him because I'm gay, if you guys couldn't tell. But I wish I was able to make more time. But I do live with him, which has helped out a ton now because I didn't think I would like living with anybody. But
is he really busy also? Does it work out that way? Or
he's busy with his own work, but like, you know, he's more like, I go to work, I come home, I'm able to relax. Yeah. And I come home at midnight or whatever time it is. And so like I really cherish, like it's made me cherish weekends a lot more because, you know, you wake up a little bit later and you're able to like snuggle or whatever. Yes. But what else have I given up? Do you know what I've given up a lot is quality time with friends. Yeah. Like if you're not really my immediate comedy circle, I feel bad, like in like keeping up with family and like, you know, missing certain things that are kind of important. Like my friend's gonna come to New York and I'm not gonna be here, and I feel really bad about that and those type of things. And sleep, because I go to sleep late and I wake up somewhat early. Yeah. And then like, and trying to balance everything. You mentioned like taking care of not only like your physical health, mental health and stuff like that. It really becomes like, and then doing your taxes. I haven't even done my taxes yet.
Did you do an extension?
Yeah.
I will say I did my taxes pretty early this year.
Oh, okay. Because I
needed the refund.
Oh, okay. See, I'm scared that I may have to pay.
Right. I was like,
not brag.
Yeah. No, but I was like realizing like, I just, the year that I had last year, it was pretty obvious that I was going to get a refund. Okay. And so I was like, the second I got everything, I was like, here we go. Like, let's go.
Good.
Do you find that comedy has, you've been doing comedy for like 6 or 7 years, right?
Yeah.
Has it become more of your income, or do you do it really not for money?
It's grown in
Yeah.
terms of how much money. I don't look. Comedy's not lucrative by any means.
Yeah.
Unless you're a certain level, then
Yeah.
you can. I'm not nearly there, but over the years, I've gotten more money from it, which has been nice.
Yeah.
But definitely not enough to live off
No,
of.
yeah.
No, I couldn't. Especially
Yeah.
not in New York, right? But no, I need like a couple of step function changes in my life. Is that the right word to use?
Yeah.
For me to like really live off of it.
I know. Do you like imagine, goals in 5 years from now? You said to me actually one time, if you don't have a goal or if you don't know what direction you're going, like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, because then you're lost.
Yeah.
Right? Which is okay. Being lost is okay.
Yeah.
I think actually being lost makes you question where I want to go.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of creativity can come from it as well.
Yeah.
And then once you know, then that's the drive, I think, in my mind. Now that I have it figured out. But yeah, everyone
do you have a level of success? Do you imagine like, I want to be on this type of like TV show, or I want to be having this kind of tour, or like I want to be making this amount of money or anything like that?
I want to be able to tour stand up.
Yeah.
And be able to like have a draw.
Yeah.
I think ideally overall, and how I get there, I think could be many routes. Like, a lot of stand-up comedians, or maybe some people, I don't know, want to like do acting. I think acting would be cool.
Yeah.
I think having like a show would be cool, but ultimately I want to do all of that because I want to do stand-up.
Yes,
does that make sense?
No, yeah, exactly.
Like I really do want to only do stand-up, and I'm open to all opportunities for me to be able to do my end goal, which is to tour and have a draw.
Yes. I went to, Fortune Feimster.
Oh, I love her.
I went to her show at the Beacon Theater, and I got kind of a great seat.
Oh,
I went alone.
Oh.
And I was sitting
so
I was sitting in like the fifth
so
row. It was like $20 difference to sit like in the close to the front.
Oh, okay.
Than to sit.
It's
close
worth
to the
it
back.
for Fortune.
$20. I was like, I'm gonna sit up front because she has a podcast that I really like.
She does. What is it?
So it's Fortune Feimster, Tig Notaro, and Mae Martin.
Oh, they all do it together?
The three of them have a podcast. It's called Handsome.
Oh.
And the shtick,
I like it.
The shtick is that they all kind of like look like handsome men kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
And they do video podcasts and stuff. Yeah. And their it's my favorite podcast right now. Is so the three of them, they're all about 10 years apart. So like Mae is 30s, I think Fortune's 40s, and Tig is like 50s. Yeah. And it's fun. It's a cool, they're all queer people. They're all people who like, I love that they're 10 years apart. Like I love the fact that they have stuff to talk about, and sometimes their references, they don't get each other and they make fun of each other. And also Fortune's like from the South, and like, they're all from different, I think Mae is from Canada and like has spent a lot of time in London, I think. And so it's just I recommend it. So everybody out there, I recommend Handsome Pod.
That's a recommendation of the week.
Yeah, that's the bold that's the bold recommendation of the week. So with I listen to that podcast and I think about internet stuff versus live performance stuff.
Oh, okay.
So I went to Fortune Feimster's show, and it's a 1 hour, stand-up show, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and I love the weekly podcast. I love being a fan of the weekly podcast. Yeah. And so I find that as a fan...
She's very funny and entertaining.
Yeah.
It's hard to do both.
I find that as a fan, I like both, but I could imagine there are people that will listen to the podcast and never go see her in person, and there are people that are only ever going to go see her in person for the stand-up but really don't listen to the podcast. Yeah. So do you imagine your career...
I think that's actually a great thing, because that means you...
crossover.
There's an overlap in crossover, obviously, but then you're also expanding your market.
Yeah. So do you, if you could design your own career, like, do you care a lot about internet stuff? Because you're pretty good on TikTok. Or would you really rather be just a really well-known, like, I've heard you talk about being a great stand-up comedian versus a famous one.
I always say that someone told me, and no shade to people in LA, but like, if you want to be a famous stand-up comedian, you move to LA. If you want to be a great stand-up comedian, you move to New York. And I love comedy, so I'm in New York. I think you could do both, but like that's why I moved to New York versus LA for now, and I love New York. Yeah. More than I thought I would. But would I do one or the other? I think now if you're not online, it's really difficult.
Yeah.
Really difficult, I think. I don't know if it's impossible. I never like to use that word, but it's difficult to then have your main goals or following. Yeah. People need to know you somehow. It's kind of like, I think what the internet does, and I'm not going to psychoanalyze the internet because I feel like I'm a 13-year-old girl on the internet, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Like I everything they experience, I experience now. It's true.
Yeah.
I talk to my therapist a lot about that. And I just think like it, it's kind of like if you see a movie, you have to see a trailer first in order for you to go see a movie.
I see that. Yeah.
You have to have you have to have a little bit of free something for you to be interested in that investment you might make and pay money for.
Totally.
Right. And or just investment could be time or money or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think you have to do it. Now, I think I don't like to post stand-up clips. Not saying I never will.
No, I noticed that. Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I do walk-in talks and I don't know.
And do you write those? Like so you'll do a video where you'll say like a story or an opinion or a statement.
It's usually 15 seconds or less.
Yeah.
That's
do
like
you actually do it on TikTok?
Yeah.
And do you set the
timer?
literally
open. Do you
set? You only give.
I open up the app and then I just hit the 15. Yeah. And then I just record.
And some of them are pretty. They grow. Like they get a lot of views.
Yeah, I like how you said some. And no joking. It is
some of them do get more than others.
It's true. I posted 2 yesterday and it has a total of 70 views.
Yeah, I know, totally. Yeah.
But whatever.
But that's how TikTok. I mean, it's so random. It is based on how good the video is, and it's a little random.
Yeah, and because I try to post every day.
Oh, you
for
do,
a very specific reason. And the reason is that when it doesn't go well, then it doesn't hurt. Yeah. Because if I was only to post like once a week, then I would put all of my energy and focus on that one video, and maybe the quality would be better. Yeah. But if it doesn't perform, then I think I would get really sad. And now it only hurts just a tiny bit for a little bit, and then it goes away.
Were you a big like kind of content creator when you were younger? Like, were you writing stuff?
Oh,
and,
no,
like,
I was too
making
shy.
stuff.
No.
Even like
I could never imagine. No, oh my god, putting myself out on the internet. What about privately? Was weird. No.
So when did you get into stand up? Like, when did you say, "Oh, I should be a stand up comedian"?
Beyond just stand up, when I'll talk about the content stuff first. Yeah. Like, I wasn't even really active that much. Yeah. On like social media in terms of like posting things every day or anything like that. And because I was really scared because I feel like people can be mean or like I was just really vulnerable and like I don't know, whatever. And then I started posting, and once you start posting more, you just don't care.
Totally.
And like, and now that like people are generally nice or whatever, because I'm not like that. Yeah. I'm nobody really, and so like I'm not anybody for people to be hating on, and so it's just like now I see it as a game, right? Like what can people relate to today versus like an expression. It's a kind of an expression of yourself.
I find it to be so challenging to think of something that it will resonate with people versus something that I'm just interested in posting, and something that I think is, because I find that like whenever something's like about a celebrity or whenever something's about a current event or like kind of attaching my humor or my opinions to things that are happening, always goes better for me on TikTok.
I think topical is really good.
Yeah, but I
wish I could be more topical.
Yeah, like I made a video yesterday that really just it was funny. I think I was excited about the idea. I might redo it. Oh, like I posted it and I think it was just not hitting. And as I was watching, it was not hitting. After I post it, sometimes you post things and it doesn't hit, and you're like, oh yeah, I understand why. Okay, but like it was.
I never do. I'm like, I don't get why.
You know the saying like Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. Have you ever heard that?
No.
Okay, so I think that's the year. But the whole there's this like thing that they teach kids, like about Columbus. Okay. Of like they'll say like Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492.
Okay, that must be an East Coast thing.
No, I grew up in California.
Oh, that must be. California.
No, so I don't know where it's from or whatever. I don't think I was actually taught it. I think I've just heard it a lot. Okay. But I always mess it up. I don't get the year because the only thing that rhymes is two. So I made a video that was like Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1992. Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1672. Like, because the only thing that rhymes is two. So I thought that's funny because it just doesn't work as a mnemonic device, you know?
Oh, okay. That's like, a good word.
And
I'm impressed with words.
And so anyway, I posted the video and it didn't do too well. I think it was just because of the setting and like just kind of like didn't work. But I do find that when I can connect it to something that's happening, like I did a JoJo Siwa reaction video.
Oh, okay.
That got, I think that's at like 35,000 views.
There you go.
And I'm like, okay, so maybe Ben plus JoJo Siwa is the formula.
Who knew that's the power duo we needed?
Yeah, right, exactly. Speaking of celebrities, do you want to play a game?
Sure.
Okay, so I have this iPad right here.
Okay.
And I have lists of celebrities. Are you nervous?
No, I'm excited.
I have lists of celebrities that I'm going to, we're going to just discuss which of these celebrities we think are more bold.
Okay.
And there's different interpretations of bold.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
About.
Okay.
So bold could be like, this person is like, goes after their dreams. Yeah. Goes after their dreams and like lives their lives that they've wanted to live and all that stuff. Oh, yeah. This is from my grandma. I was at her house in Seattle. Like my grandparents are in like the Seattle area.
Oh, cute.
And I say that because he's from Washington as well.
Yeah, I'm Washington.
And she was like, "Do you don't have any pets?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, "You need a stuffed animal."
Oh,
so she sent that with me.
Well, shout out to grandma.
Yeah. Anyway, so bold could mean like they're doing everything. They're like living their lives.
Okay.
They go after what they want. It could also mean like, wow, that's bold.
Okay. Okay. I feel like you've defined it for me.
So, yes, right, exactly. So,
all right.
Okay, the first grouping here, and I tried to make sure that they weren't totally related, like it's just two celebrities. Sure. But the first one is Beyonce.
Okay.
And Justin Timberlake. Who's more bold?
Beyonce.
Yeah, I know.
But I thought these were gonna be hard.
I know.
What do you mean? Who's more bold? Of course, Beyonce
Beyonce
or Justin
I was literally
Timberlake. Talking to my friend about this the other day. Like it's just you know something like bringing it back to TikTok.
Yeah.
Someone once told me like once something works on TikTok, you just do that.
Right.
And the other day I was looking, I was like, I haven't done anything different in TikTok, just these walk and talk videos.
Yeah.
So I'm like afraid to do something different
now.
And the reason why I feel Beyonce's so bold is every album is just so freaking different than the next.
Yeah.
Different genres, different sounds, just different collaborations.
Yeah.
Just like the fact that she's wanting to and willing to just be different in that sense, not sticking to what her comfort zone is, regardless of what that is so bold. Because it takes a lot of vulnerability and courage to do so. Yeah. So yeah, Beyonce.
Definitely Beyonce. And to be honest, there's literally random.
Justin Timberlake.
They're literally random. I put them on Chat GPT.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So Beyonce, do you have a favorite song on Cowboy Carter?
Yeah, Levi's.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's like probably my second, but I'm a
What's your first?
big Two Most Wanted person.
Oh, okay.
I'm a big, I'm a lifelong Miley stan.
And I love the intro from Dolly. I love the intro from Nelson. The whole thing.
It's Dolly P.
Yeah, I actually when I go to the gym, I'm like I'm gonna listen to this album.
Yes.
End to end, and that's why I'm there for like close to an hour and a half or something.
Okay, here's one.
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian or Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh.
Who's more bold?
Who's more bold? Do you know what? I will say Leo.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think Leo's like really bold in the sense of the type of movies and projects he goes to.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people make fun of him for like who he dates and that's not my business, but like the fact that he's making these type of movies to talk specifically with like the indigenous community and like is able to and is respectful in that manner, to me is really really bold, specifically as a white guy. I think he understands his privilege to a degree. And
what do you think makes him understand that? Like, what is it just awareness? I
have no idea. Some experience, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Right.
But like he's given a lot of people like opportunities because he knows he can.
Yeah.
And I do think like he's a great actor, and the choices he makes in terms of what type of films he's in is also very deliberate. So I think that's very bold.
And you don't think Kim Kardashian is a great actor?
I've never seen her act.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no, but we're just talking about bold.
I know,
it's a different personality.
Totally. Yeah,
I mean, she's bold in her own way.
Kim Kardashian is definitely bold, but I get what you're saying about Leo. Like he really stands out.
And he's cute.
Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah. He is cute. I mean, he's like one of the most like famous Hollywood heartthrobs, right? But he's just kind of older now, so maybe it's debatable that he's cute now.
I still would.
Yeah. And what about? Okay, here's one.
Okay.
Rihanna.
Okay.
It's gonna be hard to beat Rihanna.
Okay.
Or Tom Hanks.
Oh, yeah, Rihanna.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think ChatGPT doesn't understand this assignment.
No, they don't. It's funny. Rihanna, I would say, is probably the boldest celebrity out there.
Oh, why?
I don't know. That's a bold statement.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. She just. First of all, she goes after everything.
Okay.
She is a huge business mogul, business expert.
Yeah.
Her music is so badass.
Yeah.
She's an amazing
built
performer,
this,
dancer.
empire.
Her voice is unbelievable, I think.
She's and every time I see an interview on her on TikTok or YouTube, I always watch it.
And you know what? You know what's bold about her? She is not going to be fucked with.
Yeah, true.
You're not going to fuck with Rihanna.
But you know what I love the most is when they're able to bring up Rihanna's old tweets when she was like, Baddie Riri or something like that.
Bad girl Riri.
Oh my god, those are so brutal. They're really, really funny.
What are they controversial? Or are they just like cringe?
No, they're controversial. They're like clapbacks, but in a very good way. There's one with Sierra where
good luck finding that stage
you speak of. Yeah. Oh my god. That's just
I know. Okay, here's one. Lady Gaga.
Okay.
Or Robert Downey Jr.
I don't know much about Robert Downey Jr.
I know he had like a rough.
He's Iron Man, right?
He's Iron Man.
Yeah.
He's probably in his 50s now.
Okay.
I think he was like this kind of in his like 20s.
Okay.
I don't know a ton either, but like he was like addicted to drugs and like kind of like this like I don't know if it was party but problematic like kind of like he was in danger a lot. Like he would get arrested a lot and he'd be drunk a lot.
Oh wow, that's kind of hot.
And so and so now it's like I saw a TikTok that it was like now that he's won an Oscar, it's like crazy turnaround because he took control of his life and like
that's
he got Iron Man.
Okay, then I think I know your choice.
Well, Lady Gaga, isn't that the other person?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there? I mean, Lady Gaga, is she bold? Yeah, I would say so.
I think so too. I mean, but now you kind of convinced me that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be more
his
bold.
Whole life around.
I think I might choose him then.
Yeah,
just from your description.
But also, I will say Lady Gaga has her whole chronic pain experience. Do you know about that?
Oh, kind of
a little bit.
Yeah.
She has like chronic pain that she's like always in major pain.
Oh,
and she's had like I don't know exactly what it's from, but
and she keeps pushing.
She keeps pushing, exactly.
Okay.
And
Can it be a tie?
Yeah, it's a tie.
Okay,
I think it's a tie.
A tie.
Okay, this is a funny one.
Okay.
Because it depends on your opinion of the first person. Oprah Winfrey.
Okay.
Or Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds.
Do you know him?
Yeah. No, he's really.
Yeah. We should just have done who's hotter.
I know, right?
Who's hotter, Oprah or Ryan Reynolds?
I don't know. I think Oprah's like, what is it? Like, I think Oprah's public opinion, specifically with the younger generation, has been shifting over time and not in like the positive way.
Yeah.
Which probably influenced me, though I still think she's very bold in her own way. Like, if you think about it, for her generation at the time, really broke down a lot of barriers. I'm trying to be political here.
No, I know.
I'm like, because maybe one day I'll make it, and I don't want her to not give me a job on this.
Yeah.
But Ryan Reynolds did Barbie. That's a pretty fucking bold movie to do. After
that's
Oscar.
Ryan. No, that's Ryan Gosling.
Oh.
Ryan Reynolds.
Sorry.
Ryan Reynolds would have been a great Ken though.
He would have been.
He'd be a really funny.
Oh
Ken.
yeah. Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds is
I would say Oprah in that sense.
Yeah.
No,
Oprah.
Yeah.
And also, if you have to say, like, Oprah did grow up extremely poor.
Yeah.
And she did build. She's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Like she did like build this whole thing around herself that like is pretty impressive, even though now she's out of touch. Like she went from very in touch to like kind of people think she's like out of touch or like that whole like.
I mean,
you're a billionaire.
I can't blame her. Yeah. I would be concerned if you were in touch if you were a billionaire.
Right. I know. I know. Okay, cool. Well, that has been Who's Bolder.
I do like when billionaires are out of touch because I'm like, that money does good.
I want to be more out of touch.
You do?
Yeah, I'm too in touch. My comedy is too like on the nose. You know?
Oh, okay.
I want it to be like unrelatable because do you remember when Ellen did a Netflix special called Relatable? It was only like 5 or 6 years ago, I think.
Yeah, not too long ago.
And she talked about how she's unrelatable and she like doesn't get the common person.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I have throughout my life been a huge Ellen fan, and when I watched it, I was like, yeah, it's unrelatable. Like it's not.
Oh, you didn't like it?
I didn't think it was funny because it wasn't relatable. I felt like it was like.
And trying to be unrelatable, she wasn't relatable.
Yeah, like I felt like she was like, oh, and then I went on my private jet, and then I did this, but it wasn't like. I feel like the private jet kind of lifestyle kind of stuff, like you want to aspire to be that. But I think with Ellen, it was just like, because she had a special. I will say Ellen had a special from the late 90s or early 2000s.
Ellen's
Here and Now.
Of course.
You've seen that
special.
one?
Yeah, of course.
I when I was probably like a sophomore or junior in high school, that rocked my shit.
Oh, really?
I thought that was the funniest.
She inspired
special.
you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. In high school, I
her Johnny Carson said to me lives rent free. Really good.
I was a big Ellen fan. I honestly kind of still am like a big.
Her
like
commencement
Ellen
speech is also very good. At what is it, Delane or?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's in New Orleans. It was right after Tulane. It was right after like Hurricane Katrina.
Yes,
it was very, very good.
And I will say like, and that special, my friend Victoria and I, we would watch that and crack up. Like, it was the funniest thing we had ever seen. And I was such a big fan of the Ellen Show. And actually in high school for my graduation, I was in my senior year, I was the student body president in my high school in California. And I was
Mr.
like,
President.
I was like, we gotta get Ellen to come speak at our graduation.
Oh.
That was like my delusion. And I was like, so I did this campaign where I hung up posters at my school, and it had a picture of Ellen, and it said dreams come true. And it was like, I made a video. It was not a very cohesive campaign, I will say, but I made a video of people around the school asking her to come speak at the graduation, like what she means to people and stuff like that. And then I like put that, plus like I had people write index cards of like why they love Ellen, and I put it in like a binder or something. And it was kind of a meaningful little experience for the school.
And then what happened?
And then just never. No.
Wait, who was the commencement speaker? I would be so sad.
Me.
Oh. They didn't have a commencement speaker.
We since I was the president, I did speak at my graduation.
Of course.
But
you're like,
we didn't have a celebrity come to do our graduation.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We don't. It was just high school. Like we didn't. I think maybe the mayor of the town talked or something.
Yeah,
like that
sounds about it. I would say like high school. I don't know if we need somebody pretty.
Yeah,
I know. The youth can find them. I don't know.
This episode of Life in Bold is brought to you by my Sunday Fun Day sweatshirt. I think it's so funny because it has a football, and I am somebody who absolutely hates football. But this year, I was really into the Super Bowl because of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, and I bought this Sunday Fun Day sweatshirt, and it's just honestly really fun and really flirty, and I really like wearing it with these beads.
This episode of Life in Bold was brought to you by my podcast called I Hope This Ages Well, where I interview the older generation of usually New York. So go check it out. Have a good one.
Perfect. I was watching a podcast where you were talking about growing up in a small town in Washington.
Oh, yeah.
You talk about that in your comment. That's in your comedy a lot.
Yeah. Shout out to Yakima.
So you were not out when you were in like high school at all?
I didn't come out until I was like 22, 23, something like that.
And how old are you now?
I'm 34.
Okay, so you've been out for like
12,
13 years. What'd you say?
You're not going to compliment how young I look?
Yes, I am going to. You look so young. You do not look 34. That's so crazy.
I now expect a compliment.
Yeah. That's actually what's funny is when I turned 30, when I was like 25, I would tell people I'm 25 and they'd be like, oh, you look so much older. Oh. The second I turned 30.
That's so bad.
The second I turned 30, people said I looked younger.
Yeah, you do look younger.
I don't know
what
changed.
Matters. You should look what you look.
Yeah, but I was like, I think maybe 30 is just the age where you don't want to look your age.
I think people expect you to look older when you're 30. But I can feel frown lines. Okay.
Yeah.
What was your question?
Like, were you out in high school? What was it like growing up? Did you know you were gay? All of those questions.
I mean, look, the thing is, like I wasn't out in high school. Like, you knew. Yeah, so did I know? I have a joke where I'm like I knew as a little kid because when the doctor spanked me, I arched my ass out.
I've heard that joke.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's funny.
Like, I was always really like I always remember as a little kid just like this is what it was. I was like I connect with girls differently than I connect with guys as a little kid.
Yeah.
The connection was just weird. Like I'm like I look at guys and I look at them different than I think other guys look at these kids. Ooh, now I sound not good. But when I was a kid, it was consensual when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And like
it's all innocent.
It's all innocent. And so you grew up, and then like I grew up very Catholic and just very scared, and I would be really into my religion and thinking that maybe I could pray it away.
Literally.
Pray it away.
Yeah.
But then, like, I taught catechism classes and everything like that.
Uh-huh.
And then, like, I wasn't out in high school, but people knew. Like, I would get asked, like, the question, like,
totally.
"Hey, can I ask you something?" I'm like, "What, girl?" And they're like, "Are you gay?" And I'm like, like, how dare you?
And in that moment, like, if you take yourself back to that moment, did you know you were gay and you were denying it? Or did you just not? You weren't there yet.
I knew. So I knew I was gay, but I thought maybe this could go away.
I totally get that.
So I was like, oh yeah, I could resonate with that question.
Yeah.
But I don't want to admit to it because I can still control it and I can still maybe change it.
Yes.
Right? So I wasn't choosing to be gay yet. I was choosing to be straight, which is like never do that.
Right. Being straight is a choice. I will say when I was younger and I was like 10, 12, 13, 14, like something that affected my ability to know that I was gay was like all the sex ed stuff that we were taught. Because what they would teach you about like puberty is like you're going to have all these weird things happen to you.
Okay.
You're going to get hair. You're going to have weird feelings. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. But don't worry. Like, you're going to come out normal.
Okay.
And you're going to grow up and you're going to be just happy and everything. And I would be like, oh, like, you know, like, oh, I would be like, see a guy and like think he's hot or something. And I thought that was like part of that. Like, oh this must just be puberty. Like, I'm just must be like, oh, so horny, like, because it's puberty.
Oh, that you like, yeah.
But then, like,
those same feelings are for women.
No, yeah, exactly. I would never see a girl like and be like turned on like that. And I remember just being like, something's not working here.
I remember like in college, I did make out with a girl, and then like I got a half chub, and I was just like, oh, maybe this can work.
Yeah, you were like all hopeful. One time I had a dream actually that when I was in high school, I had a dream that I married a woman.
Oh.
And it was like
it's called The Nightmare.
Yeah, it was like in Hawaii. I was at this wedding and I was so in love and everything. I was like 17 and I just like was getting married and like my grandparents were there and I was like everything. And I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I just had a sex dream about a woman. Like, oh my God, I'm so happy I'm not gay. Like, that's amazing.
I had a sex dream with that woman, and the bed is completely dry.
Yeah,
because it wasn't a wet dream.
Because it was just like all we were doing was getting married. I don't even think we kissed in the wedding.
Oh,
like, and I think it was just like
that sounds like a partnership.
Yeah, I remember waking up and being like, oh, I did it. I broke the gay, because I also thought I would grow out of it, or that it was just a weird thing that was happening.
I don't know if it. I don't know now if like kids think like that or whatever, but I think at the time moment it is. I hope they don't think like that because I think it kind of like I think like not coming out. Not that I regret anything in my life, whatever, but I think not coming out at an early age or not accepting it kind of like set me back a couple years. You know what I mean? Like in different things, like not being sure of myself, not being sure of my own choices, not understanding my gut intuition. Like I wish if I was able to accept myself earlier, all of those kind of things would have developed earlier for me, and maybe I would be in a different place. But
throughout your 20s, did you date a lot?
Date. Well, I didn't do both.
Did you do any wholesome dating in your 20s?
I tried. I tried. So this is my thing. This is my dating history. I don't consider. I always say I've only had 2 boyfriends in my life.
Yeah.
And that was my very first boyfriend, who is now my best friend. Love him with all my heart.
Yeah. Is he in New York?
No, he's not in New York. He's back in Washington.
Yeah.
Well, actually in San Francisco now, but. And then my current engagement.
Yeah.
And so, like, anybody else who's kind of in between, 1, I've kind of forgotten about.
Yeah.
And then 2, I wasn't taking it seriously because there was no emotions involved. I just kind of like, I would get bored of them quite easily.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like.
Yep.
I never was able to like sustain a really long-term relationship.
What does it mean to you to be engaged? Like, did you grow up seeing 2 men being engaged, like married at all?
No, I always envisioned myself. I did envision myself getting married and having kids.
Yeah.
But to a woman, and just never. I don't know how I was gonna get kids.
You were gonna be gay married to a woman.
Yeah, I didn't know how I was gonna have kids because I don't think I could get. Physically pregnant. In the mood for that. Now I want to be the one who gets pregnant. Yeah. No, but What does it mean to be engaged? Can I be honest? Like, this is like a really fluffy answer.
Yeah, go for it.
But it's very, very true.
Be bold.
It feels like the biggest privilege of my life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It feels like, wow, I'm so lucky. Like,
it feels,
this happened to me.
It's not even about luck.
Yeah.
It just feels like a massive privilege to know this person and to be able to spend my life with him. I feel very honored, like really honored.
When is
because I love him that much.
Yeah. Is your wedding planned? Like, is it coming up?
So it's not planned yet. I know. Every time I tell people that, they're like, "What, you gonna have one?" I was like, "No, yes, I am gonna have one." But right now we're in the process of moving in together. Well, we're moved in together, but we're renovating or whatever.
Yeah.
And so there's only too many projects. I don't want to do that and plan a wedding at the same time.
No, yeah.
So I want to like build a foundation with him first, and then probably towards the end of the summer we're gonna start planning our wedding.
Yeah.
So
something I realized in therapy is that I don't have a lot of queer friends who are engaged or married.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I have queer friends who are single, and I have queer friends who date, and I have queer friends who do this and that. But like, I haven't had that was actually something when I first met you. I was like, oh, he's engaged. Like, that's a good person to like kind of like have around, because I think it's just so rare, like for gay people to end up engaged. It's not rare, but it's like,
I don't know.
I didn't have it growing up is what I mean.
I didn't have it growing up.
Yeah.
So it's definitely different.
It's definitely more common
I will be
now,
the first
like,
gay wedding I go to, because I haven't been to a
really?
gay wedding before. So
I
my
wonder
own.
if I have. I don't think I have.
But I will say, like, my fiance's friends, a lot of his friends are engaged, married, and so like I'm seeing it now, and luckily they're just as fucked up as straight couples.
Yeah.
And so we love that. No, I'm joking. I'm working on a joke right now, just how like being with another man for 3 years has made me feel so straight.
Yes.
Just because it's like so boring now.
Well,
in a good way, and in that sense, like we're fighting about countertops. That's not the type of tops we should be talking about.
Right.
And like, but there's just a beauty of it to it. But yeah, you're in your 30s, so you probably hang around people in your 30s. Like, there are people who get married there, but I don't think it's uncommon to like. And you're in New York. There's a lot more straight, or single people here in New York and stuff, or it seems like it at least. Yeah. And you live in a very single neighborhood as well. Yeah, right. True. You're not like in the Upper East Side. I'm not trying to say where you live. Yeah. And so like but if you open up your eyes, you'll see them everywhere. Like, yeah, right. I do love that. Like, I'm able to see more longer term relationships, or even just like. I think gay people have defined relationships in their own way too, that works for them or whatever, and I think that's fine. Do
you think about your representation at all? Like, when you meet like younger people, you're like, oh, this is so cool that they see me being engaged.
No, I've never thought about it like, because to me it's like
you're just an engaged person.
Just engaged.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I've never thought about it like that. Yeah. I will say I did think about it with my family though, because like I'm gay, and it's like, you're engaged to a guy. Yeah. To introducing Bob, that's his name, to my family was a big deal for me, because I've never introduced them to anybody. Yes. And I just didn't know how they would react. And
how did they react?
Fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, it was definitely nothing like super bad and nothing like super good. Yeah. But my family was very open. Yeah. And they were like, okay, because you have to also respect the fact that like, it's not common for them. My mom never thought she would, like, I remember asking her once, I was like, did you ever know, like, your son would be gay? She was just like, I didn't, growing up, grew up in Mexico and stuff like that. Yeah. She just didn't know that was really a thing. Yeah. She, like, kind of heard of it, but didn't ever think it would be close to her. Yeah. And so, like,
I always say, like, you always think it's not going to happen to you.
Yeah. But then they've met him now a couple times. Yeah. And, like, each time gets better in the sense of, like, my mom called me the other day, really sweet, just being like, she was like, I really like Bob. And I go, oh, thanks, Mom. She goes, the way he takes care of you, I could tell he really loves you. Wow. And I think, like, that to me meant a lot, but also to her, it was just kind of like showing of, like, oh, like a relation. I know it sounds weird, but a relationship between two men is just that. It's just love. It's how you care for. It's how you love. Oh, I'm falling in love with him again. Yeah. So yeah, and so I do look at it for just my immediate family. Yeah. And like what it means to them. Outside of that, I don't know. Yeah, right. Because I just feel like it's normal now.
That's a good. What do you think? So kind of back to comedy and like the reason you're doing comedy and like, a little bit more about your like message to the people. I feel like when I'm doing comedy, there's a lot that I'm thinking about. Like I want people to take this away from my comedy, or I hope they feel this way when I do my comedy. Do you have any of that, or like what's your hope for how people feel when they're watching you on stage?
I was talking to my friend about this because it's not that I hope they leave away something. For me, for comedy, it's what's my point of view.
Yeah.
Because if you see a comedian and they don't have a point of view, they may be funny, but you just don't think about them anymore. Yeah. If you see a comedian who's funny and then also has a point of view, then you think about them. Yeah. Right? And so I'm like, do I have a strong enough point of view? And I'll be honest, I'm still trying to craft it. But yes. And what I was talking to my friend about was, it's a long-winded way of answering your question, so I'll just tell you now. Going, maybe I'll just add more adjectives before I go in. I think comedy, specifically Latino and gay comedy, and I don't know a lot of gay Latino comics, but there are some out there, and I've nothing on them, but I think just in general, like the type of comedy I grew up with, specifically Latino community, was always like talking about our people kind of in a way to like cater maybe to like a white audience. Yeah. Meaning like you kind of you're like the lowest common denominator type of approach. And don't get me wrong, I love those jokes too, and I still have some, but I try to do comedy in the sense of like flipping it around, right? So like you know, like I'll just be like, I'm trying to work on this joke right now where it's like people are often being like, Mexicans are here to take your jobs, and I'm like, I don't want your nasty ass job. Like, why you guys don't get paid enough? Like, why would I want a job that doesn't pay you enough? Right. So it's just like flipping it on its head of like empowerment to my own skin, my own person. Like, I think being Mexican is the best thing fucking ever. Yeah. I think being gay is the best thing ever. I think being a bottom is even more powerful. Like I'm in that space of like who I am is the best thing ever. So that's why I'm trying to do my own comedy of like the things that I felt most shy about or the things that I love most about myself. And so what I want people to take away from that is just that I love myself. Yeah. Yeah.
No, it sounds like a lot of like, you guys are wrong about this. Like, yes, I am amazing. Like, I'm worthy. I'm an amazing. I'm just as worthy as any other person in the world,
or if not better. But the thing,
right? I'm not just as worthy. I'm better.
But the thing is, but that's why I think comedy is so cool and why I love it is because if you're just repeating the things that you've said or you've heard, no, what's the joy in that? Comedy is about finding your own perspective and different perspective than people hear. Yeah. So how many times are people hearing being Mexican is the best thing in the fucking world? Right. Yeah. Like, right. I think that because I don't think we hear it often. Yeah. And I don't know if we hear it often in comedy. I'm sure we do. Yeah. There's just so much that hasn't been said in that perspective. And so like creativity, that's where it's at. Yeah, right. If I want to say how Mexicans are lazy, I feel like that's been done a lot. Yeah. I don't know if I can add more to that piece of the conversation. Now, how about if I say Mexicans are the best and smartest people in the world? Yeah. Oh my God, there's a lot more there.
Yeah, I think it's and does it matter to you? Is it more internal with yourself or is it more external, like you're hoping to kind of change people's perspective?
No, I don't think I can change people's perspective.
Yeah, they have what they think, just but more about you're kind of throwing it in their face.
It's my reflection of how I feel. Yeah. So like comedy's all to me is like a sense of a hope of truth. Yeah. And so like that's my truth right now. That's how I'm feeling right now. So that's what I want to talk about. Yeah. Somebody once told me like to have a great like set, there's two main components you need to have. One is you have something to say. Yeah. And you have the burning desire to say it. Yes. So if I'm excited to tell you about how Mexicans are the best thing in the world, it's probably going to be funny because I'm really excited.
How has that developed? You've been doing comedy for 6 or 7 years. Yeah. What did you think at first? Was that your mission from the start?
No, I was very like crass and and I still love those. I still do them.
Yeah, right.
I still love it.
Did you start outside of New York? How long have you lived in New York?
4 years. Okay. Pandemic. A little bit. Yeah.
You moved right in the pandemic.
Yeah. March of 2020.
What was that like doing stand-up in the pandemic? I only started after. I mean,
March of 2020. I didn't do comedy for like 4 or 5 months. Yeah, I didn't know nobody. I didn't do it until the summer.
Yeah, right.
And so that was interesting. But
did you do any Zoom shows?
I did like a handful. Yeah. Yeah. Not too many.
Were they bad? Did it feel like what the hell am I doing?
A little bit. A little bit. Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone like I don't think anyone's like, oh my God, I'm killing it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh
Yeah.
God, I could make these scores laugh. I don't know if maybe they have. But I think it was just like a different muscle now.
Yeah.
And I think like it taught me how to like have maybe some presence on camera. I don't know if that's true. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
maybe you guys can tell me.
Yeah, you can leave a comment.
What is it? Like and subscribe.
Like,
below?
subscribe, leave a comment, big thumbs up.
Oh. Wow, man, you know it all.
Yeah, I do know it all. Oh my God. Well, it has been so great having
it's
you.
been
This
great.
has been the best.
It's been fun.
I have to be honest, I was a little bit like, what are we going to talk about? And like, I knew we could talk about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And this time I actually made a list of like, talk about this, talk about this, talk about this. And I made the game and I was like, and then I feel like it went really well.
I think it went great.
Yeah. So, okay. So
I
let's
had
talk
fun.
about that in the after
Okay.
party because we have to record an after party after this.
Oh,
for like
we do.
5,
Okay.
6 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
So if you're listening, thank you for listening. We love you. Don't forget to like, subscribe. If you're on Spotify, make sure you rate us 5 stars. If you're on Apple, make sure you rate us 5 stars and leave a review. If you're on YouTube, big thumbs up and subscribe to the Life in Bold channel.
Okay.
And don't forget to live your life in bold.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.